That's right, Stephen. Michelle, these are restaurants that are already hurting by the pandemic. For one of them hit this morning, this was the second fire they've had this year alone.
It's scary to see this happen.
Just after 8 this morning, a fire set on the outside of a 3-story building on the Ave in the University District.
There was damage inside of the structure and to the exterior. The estimated damage is $150,000.
The building home to several restaurants like Noodle Nation that sustained smoke damage, along with 2 stories of apartments just above.
If this apartment burnt, there's a lot of people sleeping over there.
That this morning had to be evacuated. Seattle Fire says the blaze was started behind the building.
It's really frustrating. I mean, businesses are trying to recover, and this kind of a thing happening is really just a setback.
Then just 15 minutes later, a fire set inside a nearby dumpster that damaged another building. Tonight, investigators trying to determine if the fires are connected.
But they were in fairly close proximity, and they were able to determine from the evidence that they were both intentionally set.
Seattle Fire reminding businesses to lock their dumpsters and have motion sensor lighting outside when possible.
I think it's always concerning when you have an intentionally set fire at your business or at your residence. So we don't want to cause a ton of concern, but we certainly want folks to take those steps to help keep their property safe.
Michelle, Steve, good afternoon. This is a pretty gut-wrenching scene. We're seeing a whole slew of evidence markers scattered around this parking lot behind me, where it appears that shooting happened a little further back, kind of around that corner where those investigators are now standing around. One of the bodies we know is still laying out, uncovered. It does seem as though the second has been loaded up. That's the medical examiner's truck right there. It just arrived on scene just a few moments ago. Tacoma police aren't saying much, at least right now, other than this shooting call came in at around 4:15 this morning. The first officers that showed up tried to save those 2 men, but they were pronounced dead when medics with Tacoma Fire showed up. Again, there are dozens and dozens of those evidence markers around this parking lot. Our photojournalist who was here earlier says he saw investigators coming out of a business back that way called Left Coast. It's unclear if that is at all related to what happened here. The department's forensic team is now working to put all of the pieces together.
With larger scenes, it's going to take a bit longer to get everything documented. Our detectives want to be thorough. They want to make sure that they get every single thing they possibly can find out here before sewing it all up and shutting it down.
Yeah, Eric, according to health officials and researchers that we've talked with, it means we need to get back into the mindset of taking this virus seriously, or we could see a major roadblock when it comes to the reopening process.
The virus hasn't changed.
Dr. Ali Muqdad says the reopening process has seemed to have given people a false sense of security.
As we are increasing mobility and people are letting down their guard, we're going to see more cases, and we have to be very careful.
And that's exactly what's concerning him and other health experts in the state. The number of cases of COVID-19 in Washington continues to rise, with many of these new cases found in young adults. According to the State Department of Health's risk assessment data, the transmission rate, which is the average amount of people that will be infected by someone with the virus, rose up to 1.6 as of June 18th. Health officials say a rate they're comfortable with is below 1.
If given a chance, it's going to spread fast, so we have to be very careful.
Since the transmission rate was at 0.7 just 2 months ago, health officials say the last thing they want to see is rise in hospitalizations when a second wave is potentially coming in the fall.
This is not the right time to increase the infection rate, so we have to be extra careful.
In King County, hospitalizations remain low at around 2, but cases are growing daily. Case growth is also seen in Pierce and Snohomish counties.
We do know what works against the pandemic and the virus. That's social distancing and wearing masks.
A sentiment shared with King County Public Health Officer Dr. Jeff Duchin, who didn't mince his words in a recent tweet, saying, quote, "This is getting serious. Cases rising, holiday coming, and the risk is higher than it's been in months. COVID-19 is as smart as ever, but are we?"
Hi, everyone. I'm Preston Phillips from KOMO News. Thanks for checking out the KOMO YouTube channel. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for more news from the Seattle area and Western Washington. Oh, and don't forget to click the subscribe button below so you don't miss our YouTube updates.